Great day, kings and queens. Yeah. Welcome to another conversation with Drew, where it's truly a pleasure to come before you guys and share this gift that I've been given. It's truly humbling, to share the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I've acquired, over these years through my experiences and through studying, that it's causing me to become the best version of myself. Truly, it's amazing, to be able to share this with you guys, because my hope and my prayer is that you become the best version of yourself. As we go throughout this life, I've learned the value of having, the attitude of greatness, understanding the importance of your attitude. Growing up, I always heard things like, your attitude defines your altitude, and it can never be more true. We come from a society, that really, doesn't teach us the importance of having a great attitude, and your attitude really, great morning, Queen. Your attitude really is your thinking. Your attitude is your belief, what you think about you. Great morning, Queen. And that's what's so important. When I understood, the value of what I believed about Drew Clayborn, my life changed forever, and so I want to share with you guys this morning, if I can have your time, kings and queens, the attitude of greatness and how important it is, for you to believe in you in such a way that it shakes the nation. Great morning, Queen. And that's what I was recognizing and understanding, as I was sharing with these young kings and queens yesterday at this elementary, their attitude, and understanding, their mentality. And I happen to be, at one of the schools, and from not necessarily where I grew up. I grew up on the south side of Columbus, Ohio, but out, on Livingston Avenue, and it was just so amazing. It was so amazing, to be able to impart in them the attitude of greatness. And, I know that it's not over for them young kings and queens. I know that, somebody else will come along and, speak, greatness over their lives. But I was just seeing the difference of attitudes, and how the attitude shifted, when I did an example, of pouring into these young kings and queens and making them feel great, making them feel the presence of love, because their thinking was just off. It was one young man, who just had a jacked up attitude. His attitude was messed up, and I told him to step out the class. I posted it, on social media, and I told the other classmates, that when he came back in there to applaud and clap, you know what I mean, like he was a great, when you just seen the countenance on the young man change, you seen his attitude change, where he could no longer have that negative attitude anymore, because the whole class poured in nothing but positivity. But it changed his attitude. Now, did the rest of his day go on and be great? I have no idea, but I believed it did. I truly believe it did. But when you understand the importance of your attitude, when you understand the importance of your belief and how you believe, you know what I mean? Your life has to change. I always talk about that, whether it's talking about, your belief system, ideas. I always talk about these things, but I really want you to understand the importance of your attitude this morning. Consider I'm one of them people who are into National Geographic. You know what I mean? I love the animal planets. I love nature. I just believe, it's the artwork of, of the Most High. And so I really am super in tune with it. And, I've always loved the lion. I've always loved the lion. It's just something about the lion that just moves me, right? And and I was doing some studying one time, and it was just talking about the lion being the king of the jungle. I really need y'all to understand this. It was talking about the lion being the king of the jungle, right? And it was so amazing, because when you look at the lion, right, the lion is not the biggest in the jungle. An elephant is bigger than a lion, right? The lion is not the tallest in the jungle. A giraffe is taller than a lion, right? The lion is not the strongest. You can look at a rhinoceros and see that a rhinoceros is hands down, stronger than a lion. The lion is not the fastest in the jungle. Even in the cat family, the cheetah is faster than the lion. And so when you see all of this, right? The lion is not the smartest. He's not the most intelligent animal. You know what I mean? But it's like, what makes the lion the king of the jungle? What makes the lion the king of the jungle is his attitude. Because when a lion sees something that's bigger than him, like an elephant, or sees something taller than him, like a giraffe, right? The lion, in his mindset, the lion sees lunch. In his mindset, the lion sees food. In his mindset, the lion does not back down or is intimidated. The lion sees something bigger. The lion sees something stronger. The lion sees something taller. And in its mindset, the lion says that that's lunch. Now you look at something that's bigger like an elephant, and the elephant doesn't see lunch. The elephant sees an eater. So the elephant becomes intimidated. That's the importance of your attitude, that when you understand that every single thing that you are experiencing, you should be saying to that big old problem, that tall situation, you should be seeing lunch. You shouldn't be intimidated. You shouldn't be backing down. You should have that mentality of a lion, that I'm the king or the queen of my situation or my circumstance, because anything that I face, I'm going to eat it up. Anything that I come across that's trying to stop me from becoming great and reaching my maximum potential, I'm going to eat it up. That's the difference of attitude. That's something that's bigger, something that's taller, something that weighs more, something that's stronger. It's intimidated by something that's smaller because of its attitude. Your attitude truly defines your altitude and how far you go in life. Now, when I was looking at this lion, and I'm seeing it approaching this elephant, and this elephant is intimidated. It's trying to act like it's trying to fight back. It's trying to take a step toward the lion. But in all actuality, this lion does not see size. It does not see a lack of strength. It does not see a lack of intelligence. It does not see a lack of ability. All it knows is that I am going to eat this elephant, and it's going to be my lunch. Now, I know this story about animals, you know what I mean? You're looking like, Drew, I'm not no lion or I'm not no elephant. But what I'm saying to you, kings and queens, is the attitude. Look at the attitude of something that's smaller. Look at the attitude of something that has less size. Look at the attitude that may not even be as smart as this elephant, but it knows that I'm hungry, and what I'm hungry for is standing right in front of me. And it does not matter how big it is. It does not matter how strong it is. It does not matter how tall it is. It does not matter how wide it is. What I know is that it won't stop me from getting what I want out of life. Attitude. Your attitude. This is what you have to understand, kings and queens, is that's why I come before you every morning, because I am working on your attitude, what you believe about you. See, my life truly changed when I began to work on my attitude. I began to study what is called the message of the kingdom. One of the greatest teachers of all time that I've ever come across was this king named Dr. Miles Monroe. God rest him and his wife's soul. And he began to teach me, right? He began to teach me the power of the true word of God. And it was so powerful because it really shifted my mind and allowed me to know how I'm supposed to think. See, because I grew up in religion. I grew up in organized religion, and it never truly taught me how I was supposed to think as a king. And that was the difference. That right there, that small little thing, right? We hear that and we say, oh, kingdom. Everybody throw it around so loosely. But the true message of the kingdom should shift your mentality. It should allow you to think like the king or queen you were created to think like. And it truly shifted my mentality. So when people see me, and I can go in any atmosphere, I can go in any circumstance, any situation, and I'm going to make people honor that I'm there and say hi to me. Because I have the gift, or no, not the gift, but I have the power and I have the authority by my Father, who is the King of all kings, to walk in any situation, in any room, in any environment. Why? Because my Father owns it all. That's a mentality. So I can't be afraid to walk in any environment. I can't be afraid to walk in any room. I can't be afraid to walk in any building because my Father owns it all. That's a mentality. So it doesn't matter whose name is on the building. It doesn't matter what company owns the building. It doesn't matter what neighborhood or hood that it is. It doesn't matter. When I walk in that, if that's where I'm sent to walk into, my mentality says I'm supposed to be here. Therefore, they have to honor that. It's a mentality. It's a way of thinking. And I began to learn that by studying Dr. Miles Monroe. And he began to teach me how to think like a king and stop thinking like a peasant. Your mentality, your attitude is determining how far you go in life. If you believe that all you are is an average mediocre person in life, that's all you will ever be, regardless of your potential to be a king and a queen, period. I was reading the story of David, right? And it was so powerful. Attitude, right? Check this out. I was reading a story, right? And it really moved me because it showed me how powerful your attitude has to be in order to be great. Greatness is in everybody. That's what I was teaching these young kings and queens yesterday at the elementary. Greatness is in everybody. Everybody has the potential to be great, but the greatness has to come from your attitude and how you think, right? So when you do not believe that you're great, when you do not believe that you have the ability to be truly a great person, right? A great individual in your lifetime, in your generation, then you will not be, regardless of your potential. So as I'm teaching these young king and queens yesterday of their greatness, it reminded me of David, right? And David, here it was, he was this little shepherd boy. He was somebody who tended sheep, right? And everybody just looked at David as the youngest of the family, the smallest of the family. He wasn't huge in stature. He wasn't bulging with muscles, you know what I mean? But his attitude was different, right? And so here it is, right? Israel was going to war with the Philistines. You had one army on one side of a mountain standing on top of it. You had another, the Philistines on the other, and then you had this valley, right? And so David's older brothers, his 3 older brothers, went out with Saul to go to war with the Philistines. Now, the Philistines was giants, big old huge men, right? And so one of the Philistines, Goliath, stepped down into the valley. He came down in the valley and he challenged anybody from Israel. And he said, if we win, y'all become our slaves. If y'all win, we'll become your slaves, right? But this big old giant, they talked about how big his spear was and how heavy it was. They talked about how his crown, his helmet was. He talked about all his armor and how heavy it was. Talked about his stature, how big he was, right? And so all of Israel, all the warriors of Israel was spooked. They were scared, right? Nobody wanted to go out there, including David's 3 older brothers, right? This is so powerful attitude, right? Stay with this story. It's so powerful on how you think. So David was sent out to his brothers. His father Jesse sent him out to his brothers, to go out there, you know what I mean, and give them some food, and check on them and see how they were doing. So this went on for 40 days, right? Every single day for 40 days, Goliath would come out and basically call out anybody. Whoever want to come out here and get this work, I'm going to bust your head. But understand that if I win, y'all going to be our slaves. Y'all coming with us, right? This was his mentality as this giant, as this big old warrior who felt like he can beat anybody. So little David comes out here, you know what I mean? And he's passing out food and he's asking everybody, how's everybody doing? He check on his brothers, you know what I mean? And he hear this big old giant come out talking about whoever want this work, come get it, right? And it's so crazy, again, because you understand attitude. So David turned to the people, turned to the soldiers, and he's like, man, who is this big old funky Philistine that's talking reckless about the army of the living God? This is his mentality. Now, mind you, this is a little teenage boy. He ain't big in stature. He ain't big in size, right? But his attitude is so big. He says loudly, man, who in the heck is this big old funky Philistine talking reckless about the army of the Most High? And everybody like, man, chill out. His brothers come like, man, you out here all prideful. Man, go home, man. Where's the little your little sheep that you was tending to? Don't you got some little sheep business to go tend to? But it was so powerful because the word got back to the king Saul, right? And so Saul called for him and he like, man, what are you talking about? He said, man, you too little, man, to go and challenge this big old giant out there. David said, check this out, right? While everybody thought that I was out here just tending the sheep, he had to let him know how he thought. While everybody was out here just tending the sheep, let me tell you about my attitude and why I think the way that I think, right? While y'all thought that I was just out here, you know what I mean, making sure that the sheep was good and they was going here and there, let me tell you what I was out here doing. Every time a bear tried to come and snatch one of my little lambs, he said, man, I would go after it. And he said, and I would strike it down. He said, every time one of them lions came out there and tried to snatch one of my little lambs, he said, I'd go after it. He said, and I'd strike it down. He said, if the Most High delivered me from the paw of the lion, if he delivered me from the paw of the bear, he'll definitely deliver me from the hand of this big old funky Philistine. You know what I mean? His attitude was so strong. His attitude was so bold. And so him going out there and knocking off this giant, it was nothing because of his attitude. Not his size, not how smart he was, not the armor that he used. He took all of that off. He took all the armor, didn't even fit. Saul tried to put his armor on it. It didn't even fit. So what I'm saying to you, kings and queens, is your attitude. Your attitude is going to take you to greater places. You have to believe in your ability. You have to believe that you are here for a divine assignment to be great. You have to believe that your circumstances and your situation is not bigger than your attitude. You have to believe that the greatness in you was not put in you for you to just be average and be mediocre. Attitude. Again, why is the lion the king of the jungle when he's not the biggest, when he's not the fastest, when he's not the most intelligent, when he's not the strongest, when he's not the largest? It is because of his attitude. Every time the lion sees something, he sees lunch. Every time every other animal sees the lion, they see death. Attitude. Where is your attitude, kings and queens? Do you believe that you have the greatness of a lion, or do you believe that you are lunch like an elephant? Is every circumstance that visits you, is every situation that comes your way, is it going to kill you? Do it look like death? Do it look like a Philistine? Or does it look like lunch? Does it look like an opportunity to prove the greatness that's inside of you? Does it look like a situation where it can pull out the great king and queen in you? What does it look like to you? Because if it's looking like a mountain instead of a molehill, instead of a boulder, then that is on you. Your attitude defines your altitude. It takes you to the greatness that's inside of you. Like David. Let me tell you what I've already accomplished. Let me tell you what I've already overcome. See, when those circumstances and situations come your way again, remind yourself of the time when you had nothing. Remind yourself of the heartbreak that you were able to get over. Remind yourself of the promotion that you were able to accomplish. Remind yourself of the hardships that you already overcame. Remind yourself, kings and queens. Speak to that thing. Let me tell you about the time where I got evicted out of a home. Let me tell you about the time where that man or that woman walked out of my life. Let me tell you about the time when I was facing a mandatory minimum of 10 years and a maximum of 20 to life. Let me tell you about the time where I overcame obesity. Speak to your situations because of your attitude. Because of the way you believe in you, because of the things that you've already overcome, the circumstances that you've experienced and that you conquered, your attitude. Become a lion, become a lioness in your attitude. Understand that the greatness that's in you was already there before you came into the earth, so you have to use it before your time is up. Your attitude. Speak to it. There's no circumstance or situation that can stop you. Go meet that giant in the valley and whoop his butt. Go meet that giant in the valley with just that sling and that rock and take it down. Go meet that giant in the valley and use its own sword to cut off his head. Go meet that giant in the valley and say that I am here for an assignment. I'm here for a great cause. I am here on purpose. Therefore, if I'm meeting this giant of a situation, if I'm meeting this giant of a circumstance, if I'm meeting this giant of a problem, let me remind you of the giants I've already slayed. Let me remind you of the bears I've already taken down. Let me remind you of the lions that I've already destroyed in my life. Therefore, you are just another problem that needs to be taken out. Your attitude. Remember that, kings and queens. Remember what you've already overcome. Remember the circumstances that you already defeated. Remind yourself of the greatness that you've already shown. So whatever it is that you're facing, it's just another opportunity for you to hang one of them heads up on your wall. There go another head that I've conquered. There go another shield of another warrior that I've taken down. There go another sword that I can put up on display. Yeah, I took that from a problem that tried to come and destroy me. Remind yourself of your greatness, your attitude. Your attitude. There's nothing in the earth that can stop you from reaching your maximum potential. There's nothing on the earth that can reach you from, to keep you from becoming great. There's nothing on the earth. Why? Because everything in the earth was created to serve you. Everything. Everything in this earth, here in this earth, whether good, bad, or indifferent, was created to serve you. I know I have believers on here to say about, what about the enemy? The enemy is out here seeking to kill and destroy. The enemy is out here on a prowl trying to destroy me. Let me tell you about the enemy, right? The enemy was not made in the image and likeness of the Creator. The enemy was not made in the image and likeness of the Most High. The enemy is jealous of the fact that you were made in the image and likeness of the Most High. The enemy is jealous that you have the same spiritual nature and character and have the same ability to operate like the Most High. The enemy is salty at you for that. Therefore, there is no way that you should ever bow down to something or someone that's not great like you. No way. Every time an angel came into the earth and a man hit his knee bowing down, the angel always said, don't do that, stand up. I came here to serve you. I came here to deliver something to you. So that same funky rebuke cherubim, that same funky devil, or we talk about the enemy, whatever you choose to call him, man, he must bow down to the greatness that's in you. Your attitude defines that, though. Your attitude defines how far you go in life. Your attitude defines how great you are. Your attitude, the greatness is already there. You were poured from the cup of eminence. You were poured from the cup of greatness. There's no possible way that anything should be able to stop you in life. No circumstance, no situation. I don't care how many times your heart been broke. I don't care what type of disease they say that you're facing. I don't care what your circumstances seem like. If your car didn't start up this morning, if the job you're going to is about to try to fire you, if your husband or if your wife is not acting right, none of that matters, because all that is a giant that needs to be slayed. That's it. That's it. All that is a giant that needs to be slayed. Your attitude. Again, the lion is not the biggest. It's not the strongest. It's not the widest. It's not the largest. It's not the heaviest. It's not the smartest. It's not the fastest. But the lion is the king of the jungle because of its attitude. Your attitude defines how far you go in life. My brother King Smith called me last night, right? This is what's so powerful, man. That's why I said you have to begin to educate yourself on the truth about you. You don't know your greatness. You don't know your potential. And the world we live in will not teach you that. It will teach you how to become a great employee. It'll teach you how to cheat and manipulate people. It'll teach you how not to love unconditionally, how not to forgive people. It will not teach you how great you are. So you have to go read and study and learn that greatness. It will change your attitude. If the world taught you, right, that because of your height, you can't be a great NBA player, go look at a Spud Webb. Go look at a Muggsy Bogues. If the world says to you that you cannot go on and bring a championship back to a city and to a state that's never had a championship, go look at a LeBron James. If the world tells you that your idea is not great enough and so we're going to let you go because we don't believe in your idea, go into the garage like a Bill Gates. Go into the garage like a Steve Jobs and come back and prove that the greatness that's inside of you wasn't determined by what they said, but was determined by your attitude. Would you believe in you? Would you believe in you? So as I was saying, my brother King Smith called me last night, right? Going through this custody issue with the daughter of his mother. Beautiful woman, you'll see her and you'll just think like, wow, that's one of the most beautiful people in America. She's just absolutely gorgeous. But everything on the inside of her was not correct, right? I'm talking about, man, just foul, right? I mean, he has a son who has autism, and because they didn't work out, she's just said some of the most hateful and spiteful things about this kid. That he should die, that that he'll never be around, their daughter, that this kid is illegitimate child, and that this kid should die. And I mean, just some of the most horrific things that you can hear. Told my guy that he was cancerous. The reason why his grandma is dead because he was cancerous, and that every person in everybody's life that he comes into, that they're going to die because he's just that cancerous. I mean, some evil stuff, right? So he's kept all of this stuff over the years. And so now it was time for him to go to court, for custody hearing. And I'm talking about, man, this has been years of some harsh stuff where I've read some of the messages and I just said, wow, how can that come out of the mouth of a human being? And so they go to court. Long story short, he was able to get the restraining order that he needed in order to go forth, with the custody issue. And it was a Caucasian lady who was a judge, and and she granted the rights. And one thing she said, and there's no way, right? There's no way that any mother should ever say any of the horrific things that you said about another child. This is an autistic kid, you know what I mean? He didn't do this. But anyway, it's so powerful, right? Watch this. Check this out about attitude. So he's going in there, right, for custody. He was going to do full legal custody, and not full physical custody. He was going to do physical shared custody. All these different terminology. Anyway, right? So he went in there for the custody hearing. When I talk about attitude, you have to understand how powerful it is that your attitude is where it's supposed to be. Attitude of a king, attitude of a queen. Understand that your father owns it all, right? So he goes into the courtroom yesterday, and for 45 minutes she's lying the whole time. He beat me. His son with autism, my nephew Josiah, you know what I mean? He chased me and my baby, my infant, around the house with a knife and tried to kill us. And then he went outside and snapped the neck of a baby kitten. His mom is on heroin. His mom is molesting Josiah. I'm talking about lie after lie after lie for 45 straight minutes. Now we know the system, and we know how the system works. Most of the time the system is in favor of the woman, right? And so Smith did all of this research. Mind you, he's representing himself. She has legal counsel. He's representing himself. So he does this research. You know what I mean? He builds his case. And so he's about to present, after she spoke for 45 minutes, mentality, attitude. But we already talked about, King, you're going to get custody of your daughter. You know what I mean? King, this is part of purpose. This is part of God's will. This is what's happening. There's no settling for anything else, right? This is just our attitude and our belief as we're going forward as brothers. Right? So he goes in there, he's about to present his case, right? He maybe get 3 words out. He just said, Your Honor, she was trying to change the last name of my daughter, and and I just asked that she's not able to take my daughter out of LA County, right? Listen, this is how powerful your mentality is, and understanding how things work. You're already designed to win. Your life is already set up to win, but it's predicated on your belief. As you believe, so shall it be done unto you. As a man think in his heart, so is he. Daughter, be of good cheer, for your faith has made you whole. This is you saying to yourself that you have to have a certain attitude, because without this certain attitude, things go away according to your belief, right? So before he even gets all of this out, right? Before he even says all of this, right? The judge says to him, "Oh, Mr. Smith, don't even worry about that." She said she won't be able to change the name. She won't be able to take him take your daughter out of the county. Why is that? Why is that? Because I'm granting you full custody. Full custody. I'm talking about they over there with that butt face. He over here about his knees about to buckle. I'm talking about full custody. Now his daughter is not even 2 years old yet. His daughter is still breastfeeding. Gave him full custody because of his attitude. He didn't even have to present his case. He didn't even have to go through all the documentation, all the different things that he had written down and typed up. He didn't have to do any of that. But because of his attitude, because of his belief system, Because of the way he thinks, it was already done. He didn't have to say anything. What I'm saying to you, kings and queens, is that your circumstances, your situation, people who are lying on your name, people who are trying to destroy your credibility, people who are trying to stop you, circumstances and situations. What I'm saying to you, kings and queens, this morning is that your attitude must be of one of an heir. Your attitude must be of one of a king and queen, understanding that those problems and those situations is only there to promote you. Without a Goliath, there would be no King David. Without your circumstances, there can be no King you or no Queen you. This is the understanding of your attitude. If you do not believe that you were born to be great, you will only be mediocre, not because greatness is not inside of you, but because your attitude says that you don't even believe that you have the ability to be great. That you don't have the ability to be great. Listen, the Most High God set everything up for you, right? He set everything up for you to win. He finished your life and said that this is good. He finished your life and said that in this lifetime, this individual will be great because I created them from me and I'm great. He said that this lifetime is presenting one of the greatest people that the world will ever see. In this lifetime, I already set it up from A to Z for this person to be great. But all of that is predicated on your belief. That's it. Your attitude. That's it. It's not that it's not set up for you to win. Think about it. All of the time that you believe that you was broke and then something happened financially for you. Think about all the times where you believe that that you wouldn't get a job and then you got that phone call. Think about all the times where you felt like it was over and then something happened and it changed the way that you thought. This is what I'm saying to you, kings and queens, is that your life is already set up and guaranteed for you to win, but you have to believe you're a winner. You have to believe that you are successful before you find a success. You have to believe that you have the ability and the power to conquer any circumstance or situation. You have to believe it by your attitude. When my brother went in that courtroom, we already knew what was going to happen. There was no possible way that he can lose, not because of his documentation, not because of the research that he did, because he was set up to win. God's reputation is on the line through your life, not your reputation, his reputation. You didn't create you. You didn't create your purpose. You didn't create your ending. He did. Therefore, his reputation is on the line, or his name's sake. There's no circumstance or no situation that can defeat you. The only way that it stops you is if you don't believe that you can conquer it. Who is this big old Philistine of a problem, of a situation, of a circumstance that is talking crazy about the armies of the living God? Who is this Philistine? Who is this problem? Who is this situation? Who is this circumstance? Who is this depression? Who is this discouragement? Who is this divorce? Who is this lie? Who is this slander? Who is this backstabber? Who is this sickness? Who is this disease that's trying to stop me from being the greatest version of me? That's the way you're supposed to look at it. And when you understand in your attitude that you can conquer anything, any circumstance, any situation, because everything was set up and created for you to win, you will win every single time. You will go undefeated. We don't lose, we learn. And when you understand that the greatness that's in you will only come out predicated on your belief, that's the only way that it can change. That's it. That's it. That's it. Well, thank you. That's my time. Bless y'all, man. Have a fantastic Friday. But remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle. Because we do this every single day, not to impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth. Change your attitude in life and you will change your altitude. God bless you guys. We're opening up things for donation. If you want to donate to this movement, man, inbox me for further instructions. I love you guys. Have a fantastic Friday. Peace.